All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, comrades. I'm back already. Um, this time I got past the hump. The last few weeks, I'd either make a live stream on hump day or before. It was hard to get over the hump. But immediately after Wednesday, yesterday, we received an avalanche. We received a lot of bad news, a lot of bad dog-related news, and I want to talk about it. Right? Shout out to everybody who's able to make this live stream, who are present with us right now. Right? Shout out to We Hate Dogs, who's been a member for 3 months. Most definitely. Shout out to everyone. Lillian, Tiger Paw, Naomi. I want to deal with something that was written by a certified humane trainer. A certified humane trainer. Now, her information is everywhere. It's all over the internet. Anybody can look it up. And I usually try to go after the most prominent people. People who are well known, respected, people who have a reputation to protect. But as always, I never get a response from any of them. So I put out a challenge today, somewhat of a challenge, not really a challenge. A lot of times I just inform these people that they will be the topic of discussion, and they can chime in if they want. If not, oh well. And today, I'm going to deal with this woman, Katherine Compitus. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Katherine. I sent her this tweet. I said, your assessment of dogs is about to be refuted on my next live stream. Feel free to engage. Listen, I'm not trying to bully these people. It just so happens that they have the credentials. I'm trying to discredit dog ownership as a whole. So I have to do this. Nothing personal against these people. And everything I talk about is related to their profession. It's something that they made public. And they reinforced it with their credentials. So I saw this statement that she left, 4 years ago. As you can see, MA in Animal Behavior, Certified Humane Trainer, and Animal Handler for Media. Okay, if you do your research on this lady, Psychology Today has a piece on her. A bilingual licensed clinical social worker in New York. Check her out, right? This woman has credentials. Her research focuses primarily on clinical social work, trauma therapy, blah, blah, blah. Let's skip down to the good stuff. She is especially interested in crisis intervention as it relates to the human-animal bond. And what's the rule, people? What's the rule? You always replace the word animal, pet, so on and so forth with the word dog. Human-dog bond. These people only deal with dogs 100% of the time, virtually. Exceptions, not the rule. And they hide their dog nuttery, or try to hide it, behind these neutral words. animals, pets. It's actually dog nuttery. She is a certified family trauma therapist, has trained in sensory motor psychotherapy, blah, blah, blah. She has published articles on the clinician's experience of conducting animal-assisted therapy. So she's all for these therapy dogs and the welfare of therapy dogs. Once again, they put the word animals. So, isn't this fascinating? It's fascinating. After you figure out their language, their code words, it's fascinating to sift through the articles and spot them out. The deception. Conducting animal-assisted therapy and welfare dogs. She designed and currently teaches. Listen to this now. Listen to this. Hey, I'm not making a challenge to a nobody here. She designed and currently teaches the first human-animal bond course at New York University's Silver School of Social Work. She teaches a course on human-dog bond. Okay? They hide their obsession with dogs, or they try to hide their obsession with dogs behind these code words. Animals, pets. And let's see what she had to say here. She made a pretty, what I thought was a ridiculous statement. She said a dog that is never hit will never bite. Now, I just read the first sentence. And I know there are many of you who are already sitting there with your mouth wide open. You are not blinking. The ignorance of that statement has left you frozen. I know that many of you are amazed at the very first sentence. I know I was. Shout out to Morpheus Christus in the chat room. Yes, sir. Welcome. All right. We got the usual crowd in the building. Yes, she started this paragraph off with that sentence. Your eyes don't deceive you. A dog that is never hit will never bite. When a dog is trained through physical means, such as hitting, tapping, slapping, spanking, and or is bullied or intimidated, then you are teaching the dog that those means are okay to use when they are upset too. For example, if your dog steals your food and you hit it, you're teaching the dog that it's okay to hit when you are upset or annoyed. So she's saying that dogs that attack have been taught to attack. Is that fair? Dogs that attack, dogs that bite, they have been taught by a human to do so. Man, oh man. I'm not picking on these people. This is a professor I'm dealing with. Listen, people, no other professor on this planet, there's no way I'd challenge a professor in math or algebra to a debate, live debate. There's no way. But challenging these dog lovers or experts, it feels like I'm picking on people. It's that sad and unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. They are so unequipped with truth, facts, logic, that pointing it out almost makes me feel like I'm picking on these people. Right? She continues. You use physical corrections, so your dog will eventually bite you when he is annoyed or angry because you taught him that this is the correct way to respond. Never mind that dogs are missing a frontal lobe. Well, actually, it's present, but it's very tiny. It's basically missing, which makes them less sensitive and humane. Never mind that they're born with an instinct to bite, right? An instinct to bite and given teeth to do so, right? Never mind that their digestive systems is designed to digest carcass. So what? It's designed to kill in order to survive. Never mind that. Dogs need humans to teach them to bite, to attack. She continues. A dog that is trained using humane methods and positive reinforcement, for example, a reward for good behavior and timeout for undesirable behavior, will not bite because it was taught that only good things come from humans and a human will never hurt them. Man, oh man. She says the only exception is, of course, under medical circumstances. If your dog is hurt or has a brain tumor, then he is unaware of what he's doing. Now let's isolate that statement and let me just briefly speak on it, just briefly. I'm going to digress here. If a dog that develops a brain tumor or is hurt or injured will attack someone because of that injury or tumor, doesn't that perfectly describe an animal that should be illegal? You're talking about a deadly creature equipped with deadly machinery, its teeth, that will attack if it's ill, hurt, has a brain tumor. And it's so deep that you're saying the dog doesn't even know what it's doing? That sounds like a creature that has no business in human territory, especially not inside the home of a family where kids and babies are present. That sounds like the perfect candidate to be banned. Not only banned, but exterminated. Because what are we going to do with these things? If they don't belong in our territory, our communities and homes, there's nothing to do but exterminate them. These are not birds. You can't just let them fly away. Just wanted to briefly point that out for people who are offended by my belief that dogs should be exterminated. It is very reasonable. I'm not saying any of this for shock value. Now, let's deal with what this woman said. And I won't keep you. I'm going to try not to keep y'all too long here today. Man, did she say a mouthful or what? A dog that is never hit will never bite. So I'm supposed to believe that all of these nice ladies, these soft, very kind, behaving women, beat their dogs? I use women. I'm going to focus on women as an example because I think women are less likely to use physical, violence to correct a dog. I believe that. Women are the nurturers of all species, not just humans. And they are loving. Women are loving creatures. They are loving organisms. In fact, it is through women that love itself is spread among the human family. That's why we are physically connected to our mothers first. Why? Because love is the most important thing for an organism's survival. They have to first love themselves, their family, and others. And listen, intelligence comes after that. You don't even care about intelligence if you don't love yourself, your family, or others. Love is the most important emotion in existence. Again, that's why we're connected to our mothers first, 9 months, and then for a long time after we're born. And then here comes the father to teach you, to help teach you discipline and other things. So women are less likely to use physical violence. And when you hear a lot of these women, you can tell they don't even know how to be aggressive. They would fail at being aggressive even if they tried. So we're going to assume, I'm talking to this expert, you are just going to assume that all of these women use physical violence against their dogs. These women who've been killed, and these are just the deaths. You don't even have to deal with mutilations, which is a lot more. Far more mutilations. We are just supposed to assume. Isn't that wrong on its face? To assume that all of these women abused, if you want to use that word, their dogs? I doubt that very seriously. Now look, I'm going to use this analogy because there's no way for any of us to actually prove that nobody ever hit these dogs. But I think it makes more sense to assume that all of them did not than it is for you to assume that all of them did. That makes sense? Now, let's move on. Briefly, I have a few video clips I want to share with some stories. And how many stories have we gone over here where the people raised the dogs from a puppy, and the people would say, "You've never hit their dog." Not only that, not only have they, never hit their dog, the dog has never shown aggression. Are we to assume that all of these people are liars? This, man, oh man. Excuse me, let me share my window. This is sad to me that our professionals are out here sounding this incompetent. We're supposed to revere our experts. The geniuses are like the trophies of any civilization. Do y'all follow me here? They're like the trophies for any civilization. These are the people that get worldwide recognition, and who fellow citizens would say, yeah, they're from America. Yes, she's from China. We're very proud of her or him. This is sad to me. I know they seem like an easy target, but I'm not just, beating them up or beating on them or picking on these experts because they're easy target. I want this to be corrected and go away. I want all these experts to speak out against the ownership of dogs. Speak out against dogs in our community like they know they should be. They know they should be against this culture.
Jocelyn Parker was taking her German Shepherd puppy to doggy daycare so it could learn to socialize when she came upon the scene. A car parked on the side of the road, a dog in the distance standing on the yellow line, and a young girl waving her over.
And she said, "There's a lady laying in the ditch." And I said, "What?" She said, "I think she's dead."
That girl was 15-year-old Kiana Borden, out for a morning jog. She ran past the woman and her dog, and everything seemed fine. But when she returned,
I go to step over, and the dog, comes at me. And I'm telling him to, back down because there's no, I'm not going to hurt him. And then I see the woman in the ditch.
She called 911. Multiple witnesses, including police officers, described the dog as a pit bull, but the RCMP says it cannot confirm the breed.
It was quite scary. He was very on guard and protective, but he seemed kind of nice. He didn't want to hurt me, but he knew that there was something wrong.
Parker encouraged police to alert the public, which they did.
Obviously, I felt very bad that this was...
Now, I'm sorry, I have to butt in right here. She said the dog didn't look aggressive, but it looked like something, like it knew that something was wrong. No, that mutt was worried that you would try to take its food. Its food being its owner's carcass. That's all it was looking at you. That's the only reason it gave you whatever kind of look it gave you. And y'all heard him say that they could not confirm the breed after saying that it was a pit bull. All that means is that it was a bully breed. And it does not matter if it was a true pit bull or not. Whatever it was, it's no different from an actual pit bull.
This woman's fate. I didn't want anybody any further getting injured.
While Parker was still at the scene, the dog was still on the loose, and it was near her home here on this dirt road that the animal was struck by a car and killed.
When I drove up the McFetridge Road, I saw it, and I seen the pit bull. I knew it was the dog instantly, and I didn't concern myself. I took care of the dog, and it was quick.
Mark Taylor heard the news and says killing the dog was the right thing to do.
It could have hurt someone else, and people's lives are more important than the dog's life.
Police say their investigation
said the dog could have hurt someone else, and people's life is more important than dog's life. Newsflash, buddy. Newsflash, buddy. All dogs that are in over half the homes in the United States could hurt somebody else. Guess what? They are right now hurting somebody else. Every what? A few seconds? Somebody's bit? 14,000 people every day. You do the math. What do you think is happening as I speak? This is the stupidity that I want to help rid from this country. We cannot say stupid things like this. You have to apply whatever reasoning you're using at the time to everything else, not just this situation. This ain't rocket. This is common sense. Look, the masses of people today have no common sense. This is a scary world we live in. That's why we try to be as humorous as possible when we can. You know, that's why I pick on these people a lot of times. I'm just looking for a laugh. I need to lighten up because this is serious stupidity. This is dangerous, a dangerous level of stupidity. Now, he said it was good that he killed the dog. So what is he basically saying? He's saying the real solution is to exterminate all dogs. Not just that dog. You know, because that stupid statement about that particular dog maybe hurting someone else was stupid. Other dogs are hurting others. And over half the time, over 50% of the time, they are attacking kids age 13 and under, including babies. And guess what? Nothing else attacks our babies and kids, man. See, people in general, men, I can only speak as a man. They don't looking out for the welfare of kids and babies as macho. They view having a dog as macho. And to get rid of the dog for the child, that's for sissies. They have lost that natural, basic love that they should have been born with. And you see what happens. When people lose their ability to love, they're going to be mighty destructive. They're going to be deadly. This dog lover culture is deadly, but I digress. Are we going to assume that this 15-year-old girl, this girl was 15, are we supposed to assume that she was abusing this dog? She was beating this dog? You know how irresponsible that is to make an assumption like that? And you're going to base your reputation on something like that?
The re-engineered 3-in-1 Tyson.
Sorry. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Oh my goodness, I thought I was on mute for a minute. Look, man, I don't find any pleasure in exposing how incompetent these experts are, but it has to be done. This is business, not personal.
And hello everyone, this is the 411. I'm Reagan Motoraj.
And I'm Ron Trevino. Great to have you with us today. We'll get to all those stories
in just a moment, but first, new at 4. Houston police say a woman was killed, possibly attacked by her own dogs. It happened in southwest Houston in the backyard of a home in the 12,000 block of Rockhampton. That's near Airport and the Beltway. Our Jason Miles joins us live near the scene.
Yeah, Jason, this is just an awful story. What are family members and neighbors telling you about this?
Yeah, very sad and bizarre. Police believe that woman was attacked and killed in the backyard just on the other side of that fence you see behind me. That happened on Friday morning. But today, HPD identified her as 48-year-old Tiffany Frangione.
People, what kind of sane individual brings a lion into their home? And when that lion mauls someone, what kind of sane individual then says, that was bizarre and insane? They describe this as bizarre and insane. What's bizarre about it? You got a lethal predator with a temper. There's nothing bizarre or strange. You notice how they describe these attacks? Ooh, so strange. I just don't understand. They're so confused. What kind of sane individual brings a tiger into the home and acts surprised and dumbfounded when it attacks someone? That's exactly what's going on here. You have a bunch of people who are not looking at dogs for exactly what they are, which is just as dangerous and unsuited to be in our homes as are lions and tigers. In fact, like I said, dogs are more aggressive than lions and tigers. As I proved, lions run away from humans most of the time. They don't hear them and try to hunt them down. It was so bad that experts started to question, why do mountain lions run away when they hear human voices? Just the sound of our voice. I showed that video where numerous mountain lions saw people and just kept walking. We saw a mountain lion protecting its young by only scaring the human away. It clearly had no intention on attacking that person. Y'all remember that? If not, I will show it again sometime. because I can't remember what live stream is on. I'll show it again. Lions, tigers, other predators have far more self-control, but basically are far more civilized and, dare I say, humane, far more humane than dogs. That is a fact, undeniable fact. And people look at bringing those creatures inside the home, treat them as a family, as very, very dangerous. Get out of here, man. Y'all better wake up and smell the Sanka. How long are y'all going to just be comfortable and stay comfortable with this primitive existence? Now, we remember Frangione. This was not long ago. I reported on this. This was November last year. Frangione. Are we to assume she was beating her dogs? Stop it. I would be embarrassed to write something like that.
New at 11 Browns.
I would be embarrassed to write something like that, even without a degree. Without a degree or reputation. You just don't say stuff like that. My goodness.
Son, after new at 11 Brownsburg, police say a woman is dead, found by her son after at least one of her dogs attacked her in her home. Tonight, 2 of her pets are quarantined at animal control. RTV6's Chance Walser joins us live in Brownsburg with more. Chance?
It's hard to see tonight, but just a couple of lights glowing from the house where this attack happened just before midnight this morning. It was actually the woman's son who found her and called 911. As Mother's Day was drawing to a close, Candace Wright knew something was wrong with her neighbor, but didn't know what.
I saw like 20 cop cars lining our street, and I was like, Mom, what's going on?
Police say a 26-year-old man walked into the back door of his mom's house, only to find her lying in her own blood.
He even stated that he believed that she had been the victim of a dog attack.
Neighbors say 61-year-old Lola Endress loved animals, often taking in rescues.
They spent a lot of time with their animals, really taking care of them.
Among other pets, Lola owned 2 English bulldogs.
Of a dog attack.
Neighbors say 61-year-old Lola Endress loved animals, often taking in rescues.
They spent a lot of time with their animals.
So we're supposed to believe that a 61-year-old animal lover who took in rescues, we're supposed to believe that this woman also hit dogs, hit this particular dog. Why should we just believe that? Now look, many of these people do beat these dogs. I don't deny that, but many of them don't. I believe these are the types that don't. I believe it's more of the young men who beat their dog. And guess what? They usually don't get attacked. Most of the attacks are against women, babies, kids, non-violent, non-threatening entities. So the math doesn't even work in favor of her assessment. Man, that is disappointing. Ma'am, you need to get on the side of the truth. You need to look at your textbooks, your degree, as something that needs to be improved on. Because this is embarrassing. Embarrassing to say that we need to assume that all of these people hit their dog.
Animals, often taking in rescues.
They spent a lot of time with their animals, really taking care of them.
Among other pets, Lola owned 2 English bulldogs. One, a rescue that had only been in the house about 2 weeks. Lola's son recently posted this picture on Facebook with the caption, "What could be better than having a bulldog, you ask? Having 2.
Now, wait a minute. Now, I know some experts, if Catherine is listening, I know she's thinking to herself, well, maybe those dogs were abused by someone who owned the dog before she took it in as a rescue or before other women adopted the dogs. Could have been the previous owner, right? It's the most obvious objection. Okay. Why should that even matter? If they were not the ones who hit the dog, why should the dog become aggressive with them when you personally were not the one that taught the dog that it's okay to hit or bite or attack when you are upset or when you are I don't know, disappointed or whatever? That still makes no sense. And if dogs will still attack its owner based on what its previous owner did, that only helps build the case against dogs. That makes them what? More dangerous, more unreasonable to be considered a pet. Dogs have no business, especially these aggressive breeds, no business being considered pets. See, they associate this dog love with patriotism. And that is why, that's a big reason why these people are so gung-ho and they will die in the name of loving dogs. It's crazy. This brainwashery leaves me confused all the time, dumbfounded. Okay, let's check out another story. We've covered so many stories. Okay, wait a minute.
A woman is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after her pit bull attacked her at her home in Hampton.
The pit bull also bit a second woman as she was trying to intervene. Dana Smith spoke to neighbors about what happened.
It happened at a home on Powhatan Parkway in Hampton around 5 p.m. Sunday night.
This is a nice neighborhood. There's a lot of people that walk their dogs around here. I've got a little Westie that we go every morning, and I'm totally shocked.
Hampton police say a 92-pound pit bull attacked its owner. According to police, the dog turned on the 31-year-old woman while she was in her backyard with several other dogs. The pit bull also bit another woman, a 68-year-old family member, when she tried to help the victim.
It's a pit bull, and so they can be, I guess, friendly one minute and the next they can turn on you. I don't know. I don't know much about them.
Yeah, most people are like this guy. He's very honest. Yeah, I don't know much about him. But you heard what he heard. You know, what little he does know. You heard what he said.
It's a pit bull, and so they can be, I guess, friendly one minute, the next they can turn on you.
Yeah, see? He knew that much. He knew that much. I bet you he does not know. He's not familiar with the statistics on pit bulls whatsoever. And that's what we're doing here. We bringing more attention to, because it's not a way, this information has been out for a long time, but we're bringing more attention to this pandemic, if you will.
I don't know much about him. I just know that I wouldn't want one.
Police say the 31-year-old woman is in serious condition at the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The 68-year-old sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Neighbors in the area say they saw animal control and an ambulance in the neighborhood, but they weren't sure what happened.
I haven't seen any pit bulls. Yeah, most of them are small dogs. A lot of, as I said, a lot of people walk their dogs all times of the day, and everybody seems to feel safe. So I'm pretty shocked that happened. But
Hampton Animal Control.
You see, the problem here is that these people think that just because they feed the dog and that the dog doesn't attack them, they think the dog won't attack anybody. Oh, look, it's friendly. It doesn't attack me. It knows I'm here to feed it. So you take it out, you're there with the mutt all day, it doesn't attack you. Naturally, you're going to start to believe that it's a harmless creature. As humans, we are not used to seeing anyone be friendly all day, walk outside, and mutilate someone else. These people are expecting human behavior from these mutants, no matter how many times they prove that they are not human, that they are inhumane, the exact opposite. And no matter how many attacks take place, they never snap out of it. They never it never dawns on them. Like, maybe we should cut this out. Like I said, the statistics are insane. So, ma'am, do we have to assume, are we going to assume many of these women are women? There was a story came out a few hours ago. A woman working at a rescue. These rescue organizations, these women who work for these places, they're always getting attacked. Always. These are some of the biggest dog lovers in the world. These are the dog lovers of dog lovers.
A 91-year-old woman mauled by her.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Now listen, y'all heard that? 91 year. Am I supposed to believe a 91-year-old woman was using physical violence? Physical violence? Beating a dog? Y'all heard that? This is reckless. It is reckless to assume that all of these women throw a 91-year-old woman in there at that. Beat these dogs. Stop it. Stop it. You just need to admit that no matter how you raise a dog, they will attack. They will attack. You can guarantee, that's the one thing that's guaranteed, that there will be many attacks. Over half the whole population under 13 will be bitten by a dog before their 13th birthday. That's not a minor thing.
91-year-old woman mauled by her own dog right there in her own home. Her injuries are so severe that many are just hoping she can survive that attack. Hi, everyone. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Ann Craig.
And I'm Darren Kramer. There are a lot of questions tonight as to what caused that dog to snap. Something made that mixed breed.
This narrative right here helps to protect dogs. This narrative of we don't know what happened that made that dog snap.
Darren Kramer, there are a lot of questions tonight as to what caused that dog to snap. Something made that mixed breed go after its elderly owner.
Dude. You can see the dishonesty on these people's face. They don't even believe what they're saying or what they're trying to believe. Dogs don't need it. The very fact that she's an old elderly woman is the reason it attacked her. It's again, my goodness. Oh, no, let me skip over that. Look, you should not have to convince people things that are really common sense. This common sense.
Amazingly, she was able to call 911 during that attack. Tonight, she's in the hospital fighting for her life. News 8's Bob Wilson talked with neighbors. He's live tonight in Stratford with more on this story. Bob?
Yeah, we're here at the animal shelter, the animal control facility here where the dog is being kept. It's a family pet. You raise it since a puppy. In this case, they had her 7-8 years. The dog was known. They'd never had any problems. A great dog.
7-8 years. So the woman got the dog when she was what? 82, 83 years old? Do you really expect us to believe that an 83-year-old woman was punching a dog, how many of you believe that? The expert, there's no way she cannot believe that. So why would you say something like that? And on top of that, put all your credentials out there. See, the problem is, people, these experts, they don't expect people to criticize them. You can tell. They don't expect people to hold them, their profession, and ideologies up to scrutiny. That's why they're so vulnerable right now.
And then Friday, it snapped. The house at 75 Judith Terrace is in the dark. The owner is in Bridgeport Hospital in critical condition. Police say 91-year-old Stella Antnatness was attacked by her own dog at Quezon Mix. It happened Friday right in the kitchen. Stella had been able to call 911, but she was not able to fend off her dog. Police say when they got there, it was a very violent scene. Residents saw the police and the fire and the ambulance, but they didn't know what had happened. And as word spread of the nasty attack through the neighborhood, people could not believe the extent of the injuries. Both arms.
Here you go. People once again confused. Could not believe it. She had a tiger in the house. It attacked her. What a mystery. Notice how when the dogs decide to attack, it's total destruction. The victim is slowly mutilated until they die. That's just the way it goes down. And it usually happens to the most vulnerable targets: women, kids, and babies. Women, kids, and babies. Doesn't that sound... Listen, my goodness. Isn't the rule among all living things that the women and children are supposed to be protected? Here you have something that primarily mauls and kills women and children, and it's embraced as an angel and savior to mankind. You expect intelligent people to tolerate and support this level of idiocy? This is blasphemous. This dog culture itself is blasphemous in a real way. When something is blasphemous in a religious way, most of us, we know, many people, I won't say most of us, many people don't believe in religious figures. When you say something is blasphemous, but this is really, really blasphemous, because this is against our very existence to embrace this type of idiocy. This is satanic, like I said. I'm using understatements. This is satanic. And I'm telling you, Aleister Crowley, Satanism, is tied into this dog nut culture. Now, this woman, this 91-year-old woman, I'm not going to sit here and believe that she was beating this dog. She raised it from a puppy. This is the least likely type of person to beat on a dog. 83-year-old woman named Stella. Stop it. People, this is ridiculous. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I need to watch this volume. Sorry about that.
Woman was rushed to the hospital today after being attacked by her own dog in her backyard. This happened about 10:30 this morning at a home on Kerr Avenue. Modesto police say the woman in her 40s heard her pit bull attacking a rooster in the backyard, and when she went to intervene, the dog turned on her, attacking her legs first and then knocking her down to the ground, where it began biting her arms. How would you describe her injuries? Are they minor, moderate?
I would say they're moderate to major. The ones on her arm were pretty severe.
So this is that redirected aggression that they talk about. redirected aggression. So, but just think about the type of character you have to have, how inhumane of a character you have to have. Say a human who wanted to catch a bird. You know, a dog going after a rabbit or something, some type of animal. They clearly know that this is not their master. And could you imagine punching an old lady in the face simply because you couldn't catch a squirrel? Is this behavior is supposed to be acceptable? This type of temper, no other animal is this aggressive like this. None. You know that they say that a dog will attack simply because it's startled. What other animal attacks if it's startled? Not even cats do that. And cats are predators. Much better predators than dogs. Have y'all also noticed that? How cats... Wait a minute. Okay, I thought I was on mute again. Y'all ever noticed how cats are far more efficient as predators and nowhere near as aggressive as dogs? It is because dogs are not natural. They're literally man-made mutants. Never should have come into existence in the first place.
Several children were home at the time of the attack but were not injured. Police say the dog will now be under quarantine for 10 days and, depending on its history, could be offered back to its owner.
How about that? Offer back to its owner.
Here at home, thousands.
I told y'all, they want people to be attacked by dogs. Listen to the laws. With laws like that, how could you argue against it? The laws are set up to induce, to increase, maintain, create attacks. And they don't care who gets attacked.
Terrifying moments as a woman's beloved pit bull.
Now, y'all remember that. I know you remember this one. Bit this woman's arm off. My goodness. This woman definitely does not seem violent. Stop. I'm sorry. Once you get to so many stories of women who were attacked by their own dog, it becomes more ridiculous if you tell me I need to believe that they were all abusive to those dogs. That's impossible.
To a tragic update, a woman attacked by her own dog over the weekend has died. Police have identified her as 31-year-old Morgan Creighton. This happened at a home on Powhatan Parkway in Hampton Sunday night. We spoke with neighbors who heard Creighton scream and rushed in to help. They say her backyard looked like a crime scene.
There was a lot of yelling and screaming and,
People, this is some Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees type of murders. And the primary victims are kids and babies. And dogs are still legal. Man, oh man. People, our future generation, they're going to be embarrassed. We're going to be an embarrassment to them. You understand? Our era is going to be looked down on. You know how you look at like ancient Greece, ancient Rome. People look at certain points of history with pride. That's not going to happen with us. They're going to be ashamed. So we got to cut this out. They might be proud of the generation who eradicates it. That's going to be the turning point. right now, everybody, especially public figures who speak out against dogs, they're going to stand out like a hero in history. They're definitely going to stand out in history. You know, that's deep. That's a deep level of embarrassment. This is embarrassing.
We ran over to help, and the dog had kind of attacked her and kind of left her on the side in the backyard. But it was very traumatic.
Another woman who neighbors say is the victim's grandmother was also attacked, but we're told she's expected to be okay. The dog is now at a local shelter and will be quarantined for 10 days before it is euthanized.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just spend more tax dollars feeding this thing. This thing gets another 10 days worth of food and medical expenses. So stupid. Just kill the thing right there on the spot. This is bizarre, man. And so what? It's being euthanized. So what? I don't celebrate dogs that are euthanized, but even though quite often I want to see them euthanized, it's not justice. Justice is changing these laws and making these things illegal to own. That's justice. Wait a minute. A few days ago, I was attacked by a flipping Rottweiler. Nobody should have to deal with that. Ever. Especially kids and babies. You have to be, you people are sick. Period. You are sick and you need help.
For joining us this Saturday, I'm Marisa Vadra, and we begin with a woman mauled to death by her own pets.
But that wasn't the end. Police had to shoot the two pit bulls just to get near her. It all happened at an animal hospital this morning. Sebastian Robertson has the disturbing details.
Two dogs inside the O'Connor Animal Hospital turned on their very owner.
They were unable to retrieve her, to give her any kind of medical attention because of the animals.
A fight so vicious that it wouldn't stop until an Irving police officer shot and killed both pit bull terriers.
I don't believe that he had a choice. His job is to intervene to safeguard human life, and that's what he attempted to do.
Man, and you see cops, they have to explain, they have to plead with the public. Oh, he had to do it. He had no choice. He didn't want to. It's nothing that we like to do. Ugh. Man, oh man. Listen, on paper, mathematically, dogs are the greatest enemies to human beings. This is not an opinion. I don't want to hear none of that nonsense about man's best friend. This delusional world that y'all live in, where these things are supposed to be our best friends. Mathematically, these are the greatest threat to human life. These are human beings' greatest #1 enemy.
That officer stopped the fight, but 33-year-old Johanna Villafane of Irving died of her injuries at Parkland Hospital.
It's just unbelievable.
Turns out her two dogs were in mandated quarantine after a previous dog bite. Several neighbors remember seeing an animal services vehicle at the family home recently.
Marked animal services, lights were flashing the entire time it was down there. We didn't know why, we didn't ask why, we didn't know how to find out why.
We now know those two pit bulls, a male and female, were taken away from the family. A family they say was new to the block. Police say the owner had come to the clinic Saturday to feed her dogs. The attack happened at an exercise area.
It doesn't matter what the breed is when that happens. If an animal gets that kind of reactive, they call it the red zone. It's going to be in the red zone, and nothing is going to take it off except for extreme force.
I hate to say that's an awful thing to happen to anybody,
Said the dog's in a red zone. That's when it attacks its owner, and it will attack anybody who comes close to the dead body. So this thing is supposed to be fitting for family, kid's best friend. Something that when it flips out, doesn't have reasoning skills. It has not one drop of humanity. Totally inhumane. It doesn't say, hey, whoa, I just attacked my owner, my best friend, maybe the child of the owner. So, hell, what have I done? Like a human might do. No, but y'all want to praise these things as being better than humans. This is just nothing but lunacy. Every aspect of this culture, this dog lover culture, is straight lunacy. And they're proud of it.
At SAS, we love bold questions. Because with the right...
That's one of the reasons they are so crazy about dogs. Because they know that they're displaying behavior that's insane. They know it. They know it's absolutely insane to be in love with a predator where you don't know when it might attack. That's a big reason why. They want to hide this cheap thrill that they have. Y'all know this is the truth. We know how these dog nuts are. They're well aware that these things could snap at any moment. And that's why they gawk over their very existence. Look at me. I'm willing to get close to this thing, to live with this thing. Look at me. These are a bunch of idiots, man. Idiots. The general public, the population, is under this type of brainwash that makes them idiots. Man, this is scary.
I don't know what to make of it, but I know that was it on purpose.
Kevin Nastasio mourning the loss of her mom, Melissa, tonight. The 44-year-old mauled to death at her Somerset home.
Okay, now you heard her say that it wasn't the dog's fault, that it was a mistake. This woman is up here defending the dog that killed her mother.
Don't know what to make of it, but I know that was it on purpose.
Saying the dog did not do it on purpose. Man, oh man. Wow. Why do people pretend like they know dog brain? Like they know and understand. They've been given some special power where they understand a dog's brain. Y'all ever wonder that? The arrogance, it's cultist behavior. Very much so. They think they got some type of magical power. They could speak dog language. Oh, it wasn't on purpose. Well, if you do this, just a big show of arrogance, narcissism.
Kevin Nastasio mourning the loss of her mom, Melissa, tonight. The 44-year-old mauled to death at her Somerset home Friday night, killed by her 8-year-old pit bull, Amigo.
She always knew how to make you laugh. She's in a better place now.
And that's the thing. These dog nuts, they've been sucked into a real cult. They don't even realize it. They're a bona fide cult.
The DA says the dog attacked the victim while she was...
A cult that demands sacrifices. In order for this dog nut culture to exist, there must be sacrifices. Crazy.
Having a seizure, but her family says Melissa had epilepsy for decades and the dog since it was a puppy.
And guess what? Nobody knows who will be sacrificed. Those who must be sacrificed are randomly picked. And it's usually what? A baby, toddler. They usually want child blood, baby blood. Yes, they've been sucked into a real cult and don't even realize it. We're supposed to believe this woman abused these dogs as well? I don't think so. Shout out to Retro Reviews in the super chat. Man, this is crazy stuff.
Believe it was just trying to help.
What happened that night? It never happened like that before.
She believed the dog was trying to help her mother. Mother was killed. She believed the dog was trying to help her mother. Defending the dog after the sacrifice, that's a part of the cult. You have to defend the deity that the sacrifice was made for, even at the expense of your dead relative. You always protect, your object of worship. They literally worship dogs.
I don't want to see my dog get put down for something that he was only trying to help with.
Wow. Wow. Do y'all think these people were beating these? These are the people who raise dogs with kisses, with smooches, love. Don't tell me these girls were out here beating on these dogs. Stop it. Stop it, ma'am. You know that is not true. You know that's a ridiculous statement.
The incident is the second of its kind in Bristol County this year. A dog also killed a teenage boy in Dighton back in May, with town selectmen voting to euthanize.
Man, I guess he was beating on the dog too, huh? At a certain point, ma'am, this is just laughable. Sorry about that. This is laughable, at least to us. We knew that as soon as we read that. We didn't have to go through this. Listen, I'm not teaching anybody anything here. I'm going through the necessary steps to debunk professionals, because I'm against what you preach and what you stand for. And the best way to eradicate what you stand for is to debunk your rhetoric.
Fairfield police say a woman was taken to the hospital in serious condition after being attacked by her own dog. Officers say the woman opened the dog's kennel door to give him water, and he attacked. A neighbor heard her screaming for help in the backyard and called police. Officers say when they arrived, the woman was bleeding profusely from both arms, and the dog charged at them. They shot the dog, killing it. The 29-year-old woman was taken to a local trauma center. The breed of the dog was not released. Matt, yours.
That means it was a bully breed. That's code language. Just like animals, just like pets, it's code language for dogs. Them not knowing the breed means it was a bully breed. See, and just like a cult, you understand they have code language. They speak their own language. We, on this channel, other platforms, we've decoded it.
And as you can see, it's pretty heavy. There he is.
Look at the size of that mutt. You're going to bring something like this? You're going to lay a baby on top of this? That's cult behavior, people. Let's get real. A lethal predator, carnivore this large, you're going to lay your baby on top of that? Cult behavior. Wow. Isn't it crazy to see something so obvious, so obviously insane? These people engage in, what, some 60, 65% of our population, the dog nuts. This thing about big as a horse.
He's taken to, I believe, one of the local veterinarian clinics at the request of the owner. And he also recounted that this is the first time that the dog has bitten someone. We actually talked to the owner and he said a dog bite from that particular animal there.
And to have police show up to a scene like this is embarrassing. You have deaths, all because people wanted to play Russian roulette, make believe, and pretend that dogs are harmless. Some type of cuddly.
Also new tonight.
What do they call them? Furry friends. Insane. Now I'm sharing this story only because it surfaced recently.
Also new tonight. And in the hospital after a nightmare unfolds in the family's yard. The family dog turned
on that little boy and attacked him.
Fox 35's Christy Kern spoke to the child's family about 2 hours ago about this. And Christy, the boy isn't the only person who got hurt in this incident.
John Lewin, yeah, the boy is here recovering at Arnold Palmer Hospital. The family says he is doing okay tonight, so that's some good news. But when the dog attacked, he also attacked his grandfather, who was trying to help the little boy. We do have a picture of the little boy. He's 8 years old. His name is Caleb. Now, here's what happened. This all happened earlier at the family's home in Deltona. His family tells me that Caleb was playing on a trampoline when the dog attacked him. That's when that pit bull attacked, and his older sister says the whole thing was a really scary situation.
It was kind of scary. I thought that I was kind of dreaming because it felt like I was hallucinating. It didn't feel like I was, it felt like I was dreaming, really. I didn't think that was actually real.
Now, you hear that? I know this is a child that is talking, but you can tell when kids are being honest, when they're being genuine. And this is really telling of how thorough the brainwashing is in this cult. Already this girl does not view dogs, or did not view dogs, as creatures that could do what it actually did. How thoroughly she's been deceived, brainwashed by this four-legged furry friends nonsense. She should have known that this was possible long ago. And I'm saying that even though she's still very young. So I guess we're supposed to believe that they abused their dog as well. There are a bunch of toys in the front yard. Does not seem like the type, to me, to abuse a mutt.
Now, the family does describe the dog. His name is Tyson. They say he is usually actually pretty aggressive in nature. They are hearing that the dog will be put down. The Deltona Animal Control took over that case, and we are working to get some more information from them.
Man. 5 million dog bites that are reported every year. Are we supposed to believe that all of those people use physical violence against those dogs? Ma'am, I think that is ridiculous to even say that. Wait a minute. that story that surfaced has a news report that I want to share with you all.
Hi.
A lot of people appreciated this story, and I did too. So I just wanted to share the actual, or one of the media outlets that covered this story.
In Alaska, and Nick is here with more. Nick.
Yeah, this was a bizarre story. Absolutely. According to Bridget Watkins, even after she tried to create distance between her dogs and the moose charged at her, eventually catching her and her team. That's when she says the bull moose spent nearly an hour stomping and attacking her sled dogs. Take a look at this. Bridget Watkins said the massive animal paid her little mind when she first spotted it on her 52-mile trek along a trail near Fairbanks, Alaska. She told Outdoor Life she paused for the moose several more times, trying to keep plenty of space between them. And suddenly, it was charging at her. Watkins snapped these photos in real time. She says the bull moose spent nearly an hour stomping and attacking her sled dogs.
Oh, my gosh.
Moose will view dogs kind of as one of their natural predators, which would be wolves. And how they will react to that is they will try to aggressively defend themselves and really go after those dogs and try to stomp them.
Now, at one point, Watkins fired warning shots at the moose until she eventually ran out of bullets. In the end, Watkins and her teammate and her sled dogs were rescued by a friend who had to fatally shoot the moose. Now, get this. Watkins is asking for prayers as she and her dogs recover. 4 dogs are taken to the vet and are being treated for injuries, one of them for internal injuries because they were just so massive. And experts say that if you are in a situation where a moose is coming after you, to run.
Well, yeah.
But
I'm not hanging out there.
When I was little, I think in middle school, I thought that the Iditarod would be a huge topic in my adult life, and this is the first time it's been brought up in many years.
Wow.
Yeah. What a crazy story.
I have to move on from this story because I'm
getting emotional about it. Let's talk.
Oh, they're sad. They feel bad for the dogs. But like I said, you know, these other animals of the world, they know dogs are mutants. They knew that these were not wolves. They know wolves don't carry around humans on a sled. You know, wolves don't accompany and, you know, pander to humans like that. They knew that something was wrong with these creatures, these canines. And so it stomped them, and it was very determined. So good for that moose. I thought that was a good way to end this live stream. So Katherine Compitus, however you pronounce it. If you disagree with anything that I said or anyone else said in the chat room or will say in the comment section, feel free to add your 2 cents to engage. I hope you at least identify yourself. That is my attempt to refute what you said, what you wrote on this post 4 years ago, that a dog that is never hit will never bite. Do you think it's acceptable to believe that? The 5 million dog attack victims that occur every year, we're supposed to believe that all these people hit those dogs, supposed to assume that? I think that is unreasonable, especially when you consider the facts. Big shout out to everybody who joined me. This stream was longer than I expected, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next live stream as we continue this crusade against these worthless mutants and their enabling owners.